Hey, what's happening, guys? So it's been a little while since I've done a review, but this is going to be the review on the Paycheck Baits Repo Man. It's a topwater walk the dog style bait, and the reviews that I'm going to be doing in the next couple weeks are going to be all those topwater lures that I got back in August. And then once we get through with all the topwater lures, then we're going to go and move on to. Normally, I kind of buy them in groups. I kind of buy like square bills, or I buy top water or rip baits or something like that. And I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to kind of appeal to you guys on some of the ones that you guys want to see. So if you guys like leave comments and stuff here and there, go to my Facebook page and you talk about it a little bit. I'll make a mental note of what you guys want to see, and I'm probably going to do about 10 or 12 lures on the next order, and then that'll probably move us right into the frog reviews that I told you guys I was going to do again. So in moving on from that, the Paycheck Baits Repo Man. I haven't fished with it lately, but definitely has some interesting facts to talk about this lure. It's actually a very nice lure, but there's a caveat to it. So there are two lures in this lineup. There's the Repo Man, and then there's the Repo Man late payment. The late payment, here we go. The late payment is the smaller of the two. It is 3.85 inches and a half an ounce. But the Repo Man is the bigger one, and obviously they both have 3 hooks, but you can see this one has 3 hooks on it. This one is 4.75 inches. Weighs in at 3/4 of an ounce. Obviously, it's a topwater floating style lure. The bait, one of the good things about this lure is that it kind of sits just slightly canted in the water like this, and it makes this lure very, very easy to walk. Sometimes the lures that sit really aggressive like this, or even completely vertical, you have to twitch them really like almost snap twitch the line to kind of get them back up on plane, and then you got to move them fairly quickly. The cool thing about this lure is because it does only sit slightly canted in the water, that it does walk so very easily, and you can move it slow, so it can have that nice sachet to it in the water, or you can move it really quickly in that cupped mouth, kind of like it has on the Sammy. It'll spit water towards the front too, and it has a really good knocking sound with that ball that it has back there. And then it's got these 3, I guess you can call them glass, but they're just plastic balls. There's 3 plastic BBs in there, and it just has a really good sound to it as it's moving through the water. It more sounds like this, and you can hear it from a long ways away. And that's the other thing about this lure, is that it casts a long, long ways. The caveat that I was talking about is if you go onto Tackle Warehouse and you read the comments about it, and I was reluctant to buy such an expensive lure that had such poor reviews. $16.99 for this lure, so it's definitely a premium grade lure. Is the complaint about it is that it takes on water. And it's almost across the board. I mean, it's pretty overwhelming when you read the reviews, the little written comments on Tackle Warehouse. But I bought it anyway because it's such a cool design. I mean, it's the same design as the Reaction Innovations Vixen lure. I wish I actually had one here for you guys to show you. But I have what is this? This is the River to Sea Rover 128. And the Rover, pretty much the same lure. This one sits almost completely flat in the water, but this one is actually just a little bit more of a refined version of this one. It has a little different sound on the Rover. But the fact that this thing takes on water is really, you guys, it's actually a deal breaker. And I don't make my reviews to make disparaging remarks about lure companies, but I'll tell you about my experience with it. To get a hold of Paycheck Baits about this issue with this lure was difficult, to say the least. It took them a month to get back to me after I wrote the email to them talking about how I used it one time. It was the very first day that I used it, and this rear channel here, and I have a video of it, and I'll put it on so you guys can see. But this rear channel in the back has it just fills up with water, and you don't notice that it's filling up with water until it starts to bog down in the water, and then you wonder what's happening with it, and then all of a sudden you pull it back, and then you see that that chamber in the back is filled with water. So I contacted Paycheck about it. They didn't get back to me for a month or so. They actually told me to send the default lure in, which, to be honest with you guys, I don't have a problem with sending a lure in. I don't have a problem with footing the bill for a lure, or for the postal charge that you need to send it back. But this is a $17 lure, and it should be good right out of the package. And the fact that I had to pay whatever $2.50 to have it sent to them, and then for them to take their time and drag their feet. I live in California. Paycheck Baits is out of California, and I didn't get the lure back for another like 3 weeks. It took like 2 months to deal with this garbage, and it's unacceptable. So, like I said, I'm not here to cast disparaging remarks about lure manufacturers, but I'll definitely never buy this lure again because of the experience that I had with it. It's a fantastic lure when it's working. I would pay $17 for it again if it didn't fill up with water. But the fact that their customer service is terrible, and the fact that the lure has some sort of a manufacturer's defect that is shared by not only me but dozens of other people that have purchased this lure, it's just a deal breaker. So I would definitely stick with something like the River to Sea or the Vixen, which has come back out again. But just to tell you guys about the lure, if you guys do have the lure, what I've done to I think where the water is coming in is here, is where the hook hangers are. So what you can do is you can take just like a little nail polish and kind of just dab it around here, let it dry, dab it around here, let it dry, dab it around here, let it dry, dab it around here, let it dry. And then and just do that like 3 or 4 times, and that should help it from causing that in the future. You obviously would want to let the water get out of there, and it kind of just seeps in there. It doesn't happen automatically, but yeah. So it does have nice hooks. You can see that it's got a great feather treble trailer hook on it. It's got overall good hardware, 3-dimensional holographic eyes. Go ahead and show you guys the length of this lure. It's a rather large lure at about 4. No, it's close to. It's about 4 3/4 inches, and then with that last hook hanger on there, it's pushing 5 inches. So it's a pretty large lure, but like I said, a very, very good walking lure when it works. But like I said, I wouldn't recommend anybody buying it because the customer service sucks, and the lure just takes on water. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the colors that I got. We got 2 colors here. We have Blow Up and Winning. Winning is this color here. It's they're both pretty much transparent, but this one has kind of a blue head on the top, which doesn't matter while it's in the water to the fish. But it's kind of got a chartreuse glow to it, and a clear bottom belly here. You can see that little bit of pearl that's on the belly. You can see the raised gill plates on there. It's got an overall just good features to the lure. Like I said, I mean the lure is nice. I'm not bashing the lure outside of the customer service and the fact that it takes on water, because the lure is actually a really nice lure, and I wish that it didn't take on water. But there's that color. So it's actually a pretty nice little color there. This is Winning. Next color we have is called Blow Up. Blow Up is got this kind of pearl solid paint job, kind of an opaque paint on the top, and then just a clear side, and it's got a holographic baffle in the center of it. So kind of just a different feel with that almost a mustard yellow belly to it. So there is Blow Up. So like I said, you guys, I mean, it's a nice lure. I mean, you guys can take your chances and see if the same issues happen to you guys. I wouldn't recommend it because it is an expensive lure. Normally, when I have defects in a lure, and believe me, I've bought a lot of lures and I've had defects in them. Normally, the manufacturers either send them back or just send me another one. They don't even ask to send them back. Usually, this kind of an issue doesn't happen with an expensive lure. Just because they have better quality control when you're paying upwards of $15 to $20 for a lure. So they usually throw these in water tanks and they usually understand the issues that are behind them. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this lure, but with that being said, it's a really nice lure. Hopefully Paycheck Baits sees this video and will understand that you really have to take better care of your customers if you want them to come back. I don't desire anything from Paycheck Baits, so I'm just hoping that in the future for the customers that go forward from here, that they have a better experience than I have had. If you guys like the video, not the lure, if you like the video, please hit the like button down here in the lower left corner. I really appreciate that. Not necessarily if you like the lure, but if you like the video. And stay tuned for the next review. We're going to do the Boil Trigger by Jackall. Thanks for sticking with me, you guys. I know it's been a long time since I did a review. We're going to get back on these here pretty quick. Thanks a lot.